Hi, I'm Craig, and this is the third video in this series about the solar system. Last episode we looked at the sun, and this episode we're going to talk about the closest planet to the sun, which is Mercury. Mercury. So, how big is Mercury? The circumference of Mercury, the distance around the planet, is 15,329 kilometers. The distance from centre to the surface of the planet, the radius, is 2,440 kilometers. And Mercury is about 2.6 times smaller than the Earth. The side of Mercury that is facing the sun, so the side of Mercury that is the closest to the sun, is about 430 degrees Celsius. The side of Mercury that is closest to the sun is about 430 degrees Celsius. That is hot enough. Okay, it's hot enough to melt lead. It is hot enough to melt lead. And due to the lack of atmosphere on Mercury and the very slow rotation, there are extreme differences in temperature from the side facing the sun to the side away from the sun. The side away from the sun gets down to about minus 180 degrees Celsius. But even with the intense heat, the polar regions, the North Pole and the South Pole, could hold deposits of ice. These intense changes of temperature on Mercury make it impossible for life to exist there. How far away from the sun is Mercury? Mercury's orbit is elongated, meaning it takes almost an oval orbit around the sun. So as it rotates around the sun, it takes almost an oval shape, or like an egg-shaped orbit around the sun. So the distance is different depending on whereabouts it is in its orbit. And this can range from 46 million kilometers to 76 million kilometers. Mercury orbits the sun at nearly 47 kilometers per second, which is almost 60% faster than Earth's orbit of the sun. So how long is a day? How long is one day on Mercury? A day is how long it takes a planet to rotate on its axis. How long it takes a planet to rotate on its axis is one day. Due to Mercury's very slow rotation, it takes 59 Earth days, 59 Earth days in order to rotate on its axis. So one day on Mercury is the same as 59 days on Earth, almost 2 months on Earth. But Mercury has a very fast orbit around the sun. A very fast orbit. A year is the time it takes a planet to do a full orbit of the sun. And one year on Mercury is about 88 Earth days. It's about 88 Earth days, 1 year on Mercury. This means that 2 years on Mercury last for only 3 days all the planets in our solar system are tilted. So as they rotate, this causes seasons as all of the planet experiences the sunlight. However, on Mercury, the tilt is about 2 degrees. The tilt is 2 degrees. Because of that, it doesn't experience seasons the same as we do. The seasons being spring, summer, autumn and winter. So Mercury doesn't experience seasons, which is why the polar regions don't get hot and why we have found ice deposits at the poles. So what is the atmosphere on Mercury? Mercury has very little atmosphere, but what it does have is made up of oxygen, sodium, hydrogen, helium and potassium. Yeah. Oxygen, sodium, hydrogen, helium and potassium. Mercury has a really thin atmosphere, and because of that, Mercury has a lot of craters on the moon. The atmosphere cannot protect it from asteroids and any other object from space, so they just impact and hit Mercury, creating these craters. Mercury is a terrestrial planet, meaning it's solid. Yeah, it's solid. It's mainly made up of silicate rocks and metals. Mercury is mainly made up of iron. Yeah, of iron. Mercury hasn't got any moons. Yeah. Mercury hasn't got any moons orbiting. Yeah. With the sun, because of the sun's very strong gravitational force, very strong gravity, the sun would pull the moon out of orbit. So Mercury hasn't got any moons. We don't know exactly when Mercury was first discovered, but it was first seen through a telescope, in the 17th century. In the 17th century, by the astronomers Galileo Galilei and Thomas Harriot. There have only been 2 spacecraft so far that visited Mercury, making it the least explored terrestrial planet in the solar system. Mariner 10 launched in 1973. It took images of 45% of the planet's surface from 1974 to 1975. Was launched in 2004, called Messenger, and it entered Mercury's orbit in 2011. This is the first spacecraft to enter Mercury's orbit. Mariner didn't enter the orbit. Messenger entered Mercury's orbit in 2011. This mission lasted 4 years. 4 years. It ended because of gravity. Mercury's gravity pulled the spacecraft towards the planet and destroyed it and hit the surface in 2015. It had sent the images back to Earth, back to NASA on Earth, so that scientists could study them. Although Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun, it isn't the hottest planet. Venus's dense atmosphere causes a greenhouse effect, and we will talk more about Venus in the next video. If you like this video, please remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment in the comment section, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.